This totally free tool can be used to analyze the public data for any YouTube channel, your own YouTube channel, or another channel that you want to analyze to generate insights for your YouTube strategy. And the way it works is you go up here to the channel handle, you put in the handle of the channel you want to analyze. Let's look at Mr. Beast, because why not? And what happens in the background is that the spreadsheet sends that handle to the YouTube server, which sends back all the public data for that channel, and that then gets analyzed in the spreadsheet. That all happens for free, by the way. I'll go into how that happens, but there's no requirement for you to enter credit card details. You get that ability to get that data from YouTube just by virtue of having a Google account. There's nothing more than that you have to do, which if you're a YouTuber, you of course already have a Google account. And so that data is all back already. It sometimes takes 5-10 seconds. And I've got some graphs here that analyze it, but if you're just interested in the raw data, you can come across here and get all the raw data. You can see all his videos are here. Here's his earliest video that's still publicly available, worst Minecraft saw trap ever, and all the data on it. And if you scroll down quite a while, because he's got lots of videos, you'll get to his shorts. So it starts off with all the longs, and then here's his earliest short that's still online. I don't think he's actually deleted any shorts, not any early ones. And this is, I am the world's greatest samurai. So then you have all the shorts and all the shorts data related to that. And then I've analyzed that and made graphs. You can make your own graphs, of course. There's nothing locked in this spreadsheet, but I've made some already, which might be quite insightful. So I obviously start off with the big headlines, how many subs he has, over 400 million, 86 billion views, almost half of which come from shorts. And I think shorts will overtake videos in terms of the contribution to total views quite soon, because that's all happened in the last 2.5 years. His most viewed video is the Squid Games video, 807 million, 808 if I round off accurately. Most viewed short is the one where he got the guy to fly to Paris for a baguette, 1.6 billion views, that's insane. And then you have some data on long form videos. This is the total views generated from all the videos published in each month. Here you have the number of videos published in each month. And then here you have the average. So obviously, if there's only one video published in the month, let's find one, October 2024, only one video was published in that month. So the total views will be the same as the average, right? 149 million views in October 2024. And if we go down here, it should be the same. Yeah, 149 million views. But obviously there's some months where he's published a lot more videos than one, and some months where he's actually published none. Then you have the same data for all the shorts videos. Obviously they squeeze to the right because Mr. Beast's channel has been going for like 13 years and he's only been doing shorts for 2.5 years. Well, except for this one early short that he did back in, 2020. And then you have uploading day of week and time of day, if that's interesting. If you think, oh, there's a time of day and there's a day of week that is best for me to upload because my viewers are active then. It looks like Mr. Beast has just got a scattergun approach to this, but he doesn't. This is looking at the whole period still. If we filter the data to look at a more recent period, if we just look at the last year, for instance, that graph changes completely, and all of his videos are published at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and almost all are published on a Saturday. You can see 20 of the 21 videos are published on a Saturday, and one was published on a Thursday. I don't know why one was published on a Thursday. But you can see that his strategy has changed massively over the period in terms of the day of week and time of day that he uploads videos. Something also worth mentioning is when you do filter, it's not just the graphs that change, it's also the channel raw data. So if you're trying to see which was the video that was published on a Thursday, and you filter to the last year, when you come over to channel raw data, all of a sudden the data is much shorter because it's only got the last year's data showing in this tab. And so it'll be much easier to work out which video was published on a Thursday, and there it is there. I don't know why. I guess the 19th, if you had published it on the Saturday, that would have been what? The 21st of December? Doesn't feel too close to Christmas to publish a video. I have no idea why he published on a Thursday, to be honest. Maybe it's more of an American thing. Maybe there was some holiday then, I don't know. But yeah, you can find the data much more easily if you filter it by this time, and then you don't have to trawl through all of his raw data in this tab. But if you do want to, you just go back to the whole period and then all the data is back here. The other graphs that I have are looking at title length. That can be quite important in getting people to click on your video, video duration, viewer engagement. Viewer engagement is the ratio of total comments and likes to views. And then you have the outliers. Obviously, outliers has become a big thing in terms of looking at a channel and saying, well, what about this video worked? How do I replicate it? Or what do I learn from it? And it's another thing where looking at the whole period versus looking at the last year or the last 90 days even might be quite an important distinction, because this video here, counting to 1 to 10,000, I'm sure he had 100,000 as well, maybe that's further down. But this probably isn't best practice now, right? So you might want to go and filter this and just look at a more recent time period to try use the outlier approach to generating insights. And I've put the most important metadata about the video on the right hand side of the outlier. And I've also put a link because you might want to watch the video. It might be one that you haven't watched before, and you can just watch it directly from the spreadsheet, or actually inside the spreadsheet. So I'm now watching it inside the spreadsheet. If you want to have a quick look and remind yourself about what the video was if you haven't seen it, or watch it if you haven't seen it at all. Okay, I'm just going to shut that down. My point is, easy shortcuts in here. Likewise, in the channel raw data, there's this link here. If you're wanting to look at a particular thumbnail, that's the thumbnail for that video. And yeah, I've got the top 10 outliers. Didn't go further because I felt like that's probably enough. If you're wanting to analyze, further down than that, you're probably better off just going into the raw data and filtering, the outliers that you want, because the data is there on the outliers. I've calculated for you within the raw data, so you can pick out what you want from the raw data, rather than having a list of like 100 outliers, because once you get to a list that long in terms of outliers, well, they're not outliers anymore. You just got average videos in the list. Right, so that's all the animations and the data visualizations that I have for you in this tab. Obviously, you can create your own. There's nothing locked in here. There's data if you want to do scatter plots of, video views versus title length to see if there's any correlation. You can, do that with pleasure. You can change anything in here. It's your product, right? Like once you make a copy of this on your own Google Drive, I lose control of it and you have complete control of it. One thing to note is that this channel handle needs to be quite accurate. If you put in the wrong channel, like you want Colin and Samir and you put in Colin and Sam, for instance, you're going to get a different YouTube channel, assuming there is one called Colin and Sam. And yes, there is. Colin and Sam ASMR. I've put the profile picture, and hopefully from the data you can tell the difference between Colin and Sam ASMR and Colin and Samir. They look completely different. So hopefully if you do put the wrong one in, it'll be immediately obvious to you that you've got the wrong channel. There might be some spoof channels where it's a bit more difficult to know that you've got the wrong channel if you put the wrong channel handle in. But to be absolutely sure, you just go to YouTube, go to the YouTube channel that you're interested in, and from the URL you can take out the channel handle. It's that part after the @ symbol. So if what you've seen so far is interesting and you want this tool for yourself, maybe to do YouTube strategy analysis on your own channel, maybe you use YouTube data in your content creation, or maybe you're just curious about your favorite creators, whatever the case may be, your motivation doesn't matter. You can have this tool for free. There are just two things you need to do. And the first, of course, is to make a copy of the file from my Google Drive onto your Google Drive. And to do that, there's a link in the description to this video. So you just paste that into your URL. Or, if you click on it directly, it'll be fine. And if you're dubious about that link, if you're very security conscious, hopefully you're watching this video and there's thousands of people who have liked it and have said nice things in the comments. But if you're extra security conscious or you're one of the first to do it, in that URL, before you press enter, change the last word in it from copy to view. And what you're then doing is opening up the file on my Google Drive, right? It's not on your Google Drive at all, and you can have a look and make sure that there's nothing weird about it. But if you trust me, or trust all the positive comments in this video, hopefully, then just go straight into that link, and this page will open up saying that, that there's something called app scripts within it. That's the part of the file that does the magic, that goes to YouTube and says, send me the latest data for this YouTuber. And so that's necessary for it to work. So you just click make a copy, and that they will make a copy onto whatever profile you're logged into Google with at the moment. It doesn't have to be the Google account that you use for your YouTube channel or anything. It doesn't really matter. And then it'll open up with this big yellow bar across the top, and you need to click allow access. Again, this is the part of it, the app script that makes the magic happen, that goes and sends the channel handle that you put in here to YouTube, to the server, and ask it to send the data. So you have to click allow access. And then you can put in whatever YouTuber you want here, Mr. Beast, for example, but nothing will happen, right? Give it a few seconds and it tries to update and it does nothing. And that's because of the second thing that you need to do, which is to get a YouTube API key. To generate a YouTube API key, just open a browser window. I've always done it in Chrome. I assume it would work in other browsers, but I know it definitely works in Chrome. You just need to be logged into a Google account of yours, and then you enter this URL, console.cloud.google.com/APIs/credentials, and that they will automatically take you to a place where you can generate an API. If it's your first time doing it, like it is on this account for me, then you need to agree to the terms of service, but you don't have to agree to the email updates. And then you need to create a project. You can give it whatever name you want to give it, doesn't really matter. You can create 12 projects for free on your account with Google. This doesn't require you to enter any credit card details or anything like that. This isn't going to cost you any money. It creates this project, which is just a space where you can create your APIs, and then you can ignore all the other pop-ups that come up there. There might be a free offer or something else to create, but you just go to create credentials, and this will create your API key immediately. You don't have to do anything to choose your key. There it is there. You can make a copy of it if you want to at this point. And then you close it down and you go to enabled APIs and services. This is because you need to enable the YouTube API service to work on that API key that you already have. You just click there on enable APIs and you scroll down to the version 3, I think it's the current one, yeah, YouTube Data API version 3. You click enable, and I mean, that's it really. There's nothing more to it than that you have to do. There is one more thing that I do just out of an abundance of caution, and that's that I go back into the API that I've just created. So you go back to the credentials tab on the left, and you've got API key 1. It's called all that automatically. I mean, you could have given it another name. You still can. And I click restrict key, and then I restrict it to only use that YouTube Data API. I don't know what all the other APIs do, to be honest. Some of them may require you to charge, and I just don't want to get a bill from Google because I've accidentally used some different API, or I've accidentally leaked my API key and someone's used it to do something that does cost money when that's not the intention of this. And this, if I restrict it at this point to only using the YouTube API, then I know for sure, even if I leak my API by mistake, nothing bad can really happen. All they can do is use up my free daily allowance of 200,000 queries, and then I don't get to use them myself, right? But I can never lose money if I've restricted it in that way. Also, at this point, it's worth saying that I'm obviously going to delete this API key. I'm not going to leave it there for people to copy and use. So now you have a very safe API key that will never cost you any money. You copy over that key and you put it into the spreadsheet in the cell that requires it, and that's it. It's like everything should work from that point onwards. If you're not familiar with how Google Drive works, what's happened is you've taken a file that's saved on my Google Drive in the cloud and made a copy of it on your Google Drive, which is also in the cloud. So if you want to come back to it and use this file over and over, but you don't know where it is saved on your computer, it's not on your computer, it's on the Google server still. But you just go to any browser where you logged into that Google account and you go to your drive, and there it is sitting over there. So you can, maybe you might want to rename it because it's got a silly name at the moment, copy of channel analyzer. But if you want to go into it, you just double click on it and you're back into that file again. So it's there saved for you for reuse over and over again. You don't have to download it every time you want to use this free tool. And so there you have it. You've got your own tool on your own Google account. I can't change it. I can't ever delete it. I can't ever stop you from using it. You have it forever now, and you have the YouTube API. The only thing that'll stop it from working is if YouTube decides to change the way its API works massively or stops allowing people to access data. But other than that, you have a lifetime access to YouTube metadata on any channel that you're interested in understanding. I hope that you enjoy using this tool and that it generates valuable insights for you about your channel, about channels in the same sector on YouTube, and maybe even channels outside of your sector, but from which you can draw some interesting insights. And that all together helps you on your YouTube journey. And if it is helpful, then I really would appreciate a subscribe. You can subscribe as you're watching this video right now, but I put a subscribe button inside the tool as well. If you forget now, or if you don't know yet if it's going to be useful, then you can use the tool for a while and then go, oh, okay, actually it is useful, I'll subscribe from inside the tool. And also, as you're using the tool, if you think of things that you would like to have seen in the tool but aren't there, please can you add those to the comment section of this video, and I can review those in the next version of the tool that I make, and hopefully it can be even better and even more useful for you.